When I pulled into the driveway that evening, the flashing red and blue lights greeted me before I could even park. 2 cruisers sat angled in the street, their engines humming, their lights painting the front of my house in pulsing color. 4 officers stood scattered across the lawn, boots on my grass, eyes sharp. Curtains twitched in the windows of nearby houses. Curiosity moving in sync, like it always does when something bad happens to someone else. 1 officer stepped forward, tall, stern, his voice like gravel after a storm. "You are under arrest for the murder of your son." My heart didn't race. It stilled, froze. "That's impossible," I said, barely a whisper. "My son." But how do you finish a sentence like that when your son is supposed to have been dead for 3 years? The cuffs bit into my wrists. Cold, tight final. They read me my rights. But the words blurred. I only came back to myself when we passed by the mailbox, and I heard something I wasn't meant to hear. A name. The name. Lucas. The officer didn't mean to say it out loud. He just glanced at the file in his hands and said it in passing. But that single syllable knocked the air from my lungs. Lucas. My son. The boy I buried, or thought I did. He was 5 when he vanished. 1 minute. Sitting on the sidewalk with a box of chalk, drawing suns and sharks. The next gone. No sound. No struggle. Just the empty space where my world used to be. We searched. God, how we searched. Volunteers, helicopters, divers. Posters on every streetlight. Candlelight vigils. I even went door to door with a flashlight in hand and a prayer in my throat. But all we ever found was a shoe. A small blue sneaker with Velcro straps. I still keep it in the top drawer of my nightstand. His mother, Clara, shattered. At least that's what she showed the world. She cried for cameras, collapsed dramatically at vigils, sobbed in my arms like a broken thing every night. But even then, something didn't sit right. Grief, it doesn't wear designer clothes. It doesn't taste like champagne at noon. It doesn't flirt with strangers while your husband is at truck stops handing out flyers and hoping for miracles. Looking back, the signs were everywhere. Cold kisses, odd receipts, late-night drives with no explanation. But when you're drowning in sorrow, it's hard to see clearly. The fog of lost clouds everything. And I was lost in it until I saw the photo. 2 years after the funeral, I was standing in line at the DMV. Someone had left a gossip magazine on the plastic chair. I flipped through it out of boredom until I landed on a crowd shot from a beach in Bice. Bright sun, tan bodies, happy chaos. And there, in the middle, 1 child. That smile, that exact crooked smile. The scar on the chin from when he fell off his bike at 4. And holding his hand, unmistakable even with sunglasses, Clara. I stared at that photo for what felt like forever. Something inside me went silent. The part of me that had grieved, hardened, froze. And in its place, purpose bloomed. She took him. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Revenge, if rushed, is a mess. It has to simmer. So I played the grieving husband a little longer, let her sleep beside me, kiss my cheek, sip her wine while I built my case. First, I tracked down the photographer of that photo, bought the original file, blew it up until the pixels bled. That was Lucas. No question. Then I dug into her records. Passport activity, cash withdrawals overseas. A second phone hidden behind old scarves. That phone told me everything. Fake names, wire transfers, a fake nanny with forged documents. She hadn't just taken our son. She'd staged it, sold the story of a missing child to escape the life she didn't want. For what? Not money. For freedom. She'd met someone, a man who didn't want baggage. So she made Lucas disappear. She planned to vanish herself. Eventually, early retirement, a new life, but I got there first. I started with a call, mass number, altered voice, to her boyfriend. Interpol has a warrant in Clara's name. Thought you should know. I hung up before he could respond. Just a seed of fear. Then I sent the beach photo, along with Lucas's birth certificate, listing me as a father, to authorities in Bice. Within 2 weeks, Lucas was found and placed with child services. Clara didn't even know. She was too busy booking spa appointments and planning her second escape. I followed her for weeks, memorized her routines. Thursday wine at the same cafe, same table, same smile, like she hadn't carved a hole through my chest and walked away. And then came the masterpiece. An anonymous tip to the local police. A father, broken by grief, snapped. He blamed his ex-wife. There were bloodstains in the trunk. He confessed it all over drinks. They bit. When they arrested me, everything was already in motion, in that sterile interrogation room. I didn't fight, didn't raise my voice. Just waited. 3 hours in, a second detective entered. Pale, shaken. "You said your son was dead," he said quietly. I met his eyes. That's what I was told. He slid a photo across the table. My son, alive, holding a stuffed shark. Confused, safe. The shift in the room was instant. Apologies, water, an uncuffed wrist, then a quiet storm of realization. They arrested Clara at the airport. One-way ticket, fake documents. And she hadn't even tried to check on Lucas. Not once. They let me watch as they questioned her. She denied it, of course. Lied easily. But pressure has a way of revealing truth. The cracks formed. Her voice broke. "He's better off without him," she snapped. I gave him a real chance. The detective leaned in. "You gave him away." That was when she broke. Not with guilt, with fear. She realized the son she discarded was now the key to her undoing, and I had set every piece in motion. Lucas came home. The room I'd never changed was waiting for him. Walls still blue, still lined with shark posters. He doesn't remember everything. Just bits, faces, flashes of sunlight. A woman who didn't quite feel like his mother. But he's safe. He's home. And he still draws with sidewalk chalk. As for Clara, she won't see daylight for a long time. Kidnapping, fraud, conspiracy. I made sure of it. I visited her once. Just once. Behind the glass. No words. Just a stare. She mouthed one question. "Why?" I leaned in. "You buried a son to raise your freedom. Now I buried your freedom to raise our son." Then I stood, walked away, and never looked back.